Welcome to Dreamy Drift's Sleep Stories, a place where we invite you into worlds filled with peace, tranquility, and a gentle escape from the day. If you're new here, we'd love to have you join us. You can subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that each new story becomes a quiet invitation to unwind, to rest, and to let go of all that weighs on your mind. Tonight we'll journey with Alden, a quiet soul, known for his gentle spirit and boundless curiosity as he follows a mysterious call into a hidden, magical garden. It's a place very few have ever seen, a sanctuary where time seems to slow and where peace is said to flow like a soft river through every leaf, every petal, every blade of grass. The whispers speak of this secret garden, a place where dreams drift gently, a place that holds ancient secrets of rest and renewal, waiting to be discovered by those who seek it with an open heart. Imagine yourself there, alongside Alden, feeling the soft earth beneath your feet, the gentle rustling of leaves around you, the cool touch of the night air. With each breath, let go of any tension, any lingering thoughts, and prepare to step into a world where peace awaits at every turn, where each step carries you closer to a sanctuary of calm. Take a deep breath, letting the calm settle in as we begin our journey to the secret garden. It was a quiet evening, the kind where the air itself felt thick with the secrets of the world. The forest, usually so alive with sound, seemed to have fallen into a deep stillness, as though it too was waiting. The trees stood tall and silent, their branches reaching high, woven together to form a sheltering canopy that cast the forest floor in a soft shadowed light. Through this forest, Alden walked, his footsteps slow and deliberate, each step carrying him deeper into the unknown. A gentle mist clung to the ground, swirling softly around his feet, giving the night an ethereal, almost dreamlike quality. The path he walked was overgrown, lined with delicate ferns and soft moss that muffled his steps, as though the forest itself was helping him slip quietly into its hidden depths. As he moved forward, Alden could feel something unusual in the air, an energy, a presence, like a quiet invitation calling him further into the woods. It wasn't a sound, not exactly, but more of a feeling, a soft hum that resonated within his chest, drawing him onward. He paused, letting the silence settle around him, breathing in the earthy scent of the forest, the coolness of the evening air. And as he exhaled, he felt a calm settle over him, a deep sense of peace that seemed to rise up from the ground itself. The deeper he walked, the more the world around him seemed to shift. Small flickering lights appeared in the distance, soft glows that drifted between the trees like will-o'-wisps, casting a faint, warm glow that illuminated his path. Alden's heart beat steadily as he moved towards the lights, curiosity and calm mingling within him, guiding each step. The forest around him grew denser, the trees pressing closer together, their branches tangled and thick with leaves that shimmered gently in the dim light. And then, just as the last rays of twilight faded from the sky, Alden spotted something hidden amongst the trees. There, partially concealed by wild vines and clusters of moonlit flowers, stood an archway, a pair of iron gates, tall and imposing, their metalwork twisted and curled into intricate shapes, leaves and flowers, and delicate tendrils that seemed almost alive, weaving through the bars, as though nature itself had crafted this entrance. Alden approached the gates, his breath soft, steady, as though he were afraid to break the spell of silence that held the forest in its grasp. As he came closer, he noticed that the gates were covered in delicate tendrils of ivy, their leaves soft and dewy, catching the faint light and casting delicate shadows across the ironwork. Just above eye level, he spotted an inscription, worn with age but still legible. It read, "Only those who seek with a quiet heart may enter." Alden traced the words with his eyes, feeling the weight of their meaning settle over him. He felt a pull, a quiet urging, like a gentle nudge from within, telling him to move forward, to step through these gates and enter a world few had ever seen. As he stood before the gates, he noticed that they had begun to open, slowly, without a sound, as though responding to his presence, his intention. A soft creak echoed through the stillness as the gates parted, revealing a winding path that led deeper into the forest, into a place that seemed untouched by time. He stepped through the gates, feeling an immediate shift in the air, a sense of calm that wrapped around him like a soft, warm blanket. The world beyond the gates felt different, quieter, as though it existed on the edge of a dream, a place where the worries of the world faded away, leaving only peace and stillness. The path he walked was lined with small, delicate flowers that glowed softly in the moonlight, their petals translucent, shimmering with an inner light that seemed to pulse in time with his footsteps. Each flower had a unique hue: deep blues, soft purples, and gentle shades of pink, as though the garden was painting a picture with colors plucked from the night sky. He walked slowly, breathing deeply, savoring the quiet beauty around him. The air was filled with a soft fragrance, a blend of night-blooming flowers and fresh earth, a scent that felt both familiar and otherworldly, as though it was woven from the very essence of peace. As Alden walked further, the whispers began to fade, replaced by the gentle sounds of the garden, the faint rustling of leaves in the breeze, the soft murmur of distant water, and the quiet hum of life moving in perfect harmony. Every step seemed to take him deeper into a place of stillness, as though he were walking not just through the garden, but into a state of pure, undisturbed calm. He paused, closing his eyes, letting the peace of the place wash over him. His breaths were slow, steady, each inhale filling his lungs with the cool, refreshing air of the night. Each exhale releasing any last traces of tension, leaving him feeling weightless, unburdened. When he opened his eyes, he noticed that the path ahead was bathed in a gentle golden glow. A light that seemed to come from the very air itself, casting everything in a warm, comforting hue. The trees around him stood tall and silent, their leaves shimmering softly in the glow, creating a canopy that felt like a protective embrace. He continued down the path, feeling a deep connection to the world around him, as though he were a part of this garden, woven into its very essence. The ground beneath his feet was soft, cushioned by a layer of moss that felt cool and comforting, adding a quiet rhythm to his steps. As he walked, Alden's mind grew quieter, his thoughts softening, blending with the peace that filled the garden. He felt as though he could walk here forever, lost in the beauty of this place, each step carrying him closer to a state of pure serenity. The world outside faded into a distant memory, leaving only this moment, this journey, this hidden world where time seemed to stand still. Alden followed the soft path, each step taking him further away from the familiar and closer to the unknown beauty that lay hidden within the depths of this ancient forest. The air around him felt alive, filled with a quiet energy that seemed to pulse through every leaf, every petal, every stone along the path. The deeper he ventured, the more he sensed that he was nearing something extraordinary. The garden felt close, its presence a gentle hum in the air, a soft whisper that beckoned him forward. He could feel it, just beyond the veil of trees, waiting, almost as if it had been expecting him. The path twisted and turned, leading him around clusters of flowering shrubs and towering ferns, their leaves soft and dewy under the night sky. Here and there, the faint glow of delicate blossoms cast pools of light on the ground, their colors muted and dreamlike, as though plucked from the landscape of a quiet dream. The further Alden walked, the softer the forest became, as though each step drew him into a world where all sound, all movement was softened, wrapped in a gentle calm. Even his own breathing grew quieter, blending with the stillness that enveloped the path, leaving only the steady rhythm of his footsteps and the soft murmur of the night. Then, through the mist that clung to the trees like a silken shroud, he saw it. There, just a few steps ahead, stood an archway, a grand, ornate entrance, half hidden in shadows and moonlight. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, an intricate creation of iron and ivy, woven together as though crafted by both human hands and the gentle touch of nature. The iron gates towered above him, their surface dark and weathered, bearing the marks of time and seasons long past. But what caught his eye were the designs that had been carved into the iron. They were delicate, intricate patterns of leaves and flowers and vines that curled and twisted through the bars, forming a tapestry of nature and metal, as though the gate itself were alive. Vines wound around the bars, their leaves glistening with droplets of dew that caught the faint light, casting tiny reflections across the iron surface. Flowers bloomed along the edges of the gate, their petals soft and luminous, adding a touch of color to the dark iron. Each bloom was unique, some small and delicate, others large and vibrant, yet all seemed to share a gentle glow, as though they were lit from within. Alden approached the gate slowly, almost reverently, feeling the quiet beauty of the scene settle over him like a blanket. He reached out a hand, his fingers brushing against the cool, damp surface of the iron, feeling the rough texture beneath his skin. The touch grounded him, a reminder that he was here, in this magical place, on the threshold of something beyond imagination. As he traced the curves and lines of the gate, he noticed an inscription, half hidden by a cascade of ivy. The words were faint, worn with age, but as he looked closer, he could just make them out. They read, "Only those who seek with a quiet heart may enter." He let the words linger in his mind, feeling the weight of their meaning. They were an invitation, a reminder to leave behind all distractions, all worries. To approach this place with a heart open to peace, a mind willing to rest in the beauty of the moment. Taking a deep breath, Alden let his hand fall to his side, feeling a sense of calm settle over him, a quiet readiness. The garden was close. He could feel it, like a gentle presence pressing against the edges of his thoughts, a world waiting just beyond the gate. And then, with a soft, almost imperceptible creak, the gates began to open. They moved slowly, almost gracefully, parting to reveal the path beyond a winding trail that led deeper into the shadows, lit only by the soft glow of flowers that lined the edges. The garden lay hidden within, its secrets waiting to be uncovered, its beauty inviting him to step forward and enter its embrace. Alden took a tentative step forward, feeling the cool earth beneath his feet, the gentle breeze that drifted through the open gates, carrying with it a faint fragrance, the scent of night-blooming flowers, fresh and delicate, like a quiet whisper in the air. He stepped fully through the gates, and as he did, a soft warmth wrapped around him, a gentle shift in the atmosphere, as though the garden itself was welcoming him into its heart. The world beyond the gate felt different, quieter, as if he had crossed into a place untouched by time, a sanctuary hidden from the world. The path was narrow and winding, bordered on both sides by clusters of delicate flowers that glowed softly in the moonlight. Their petals were translucent, shimmering with an inner light that seemed to pulse gently, casting a soft, magical glow across the ground. Each flower was unique, their colors rich and varied, deep blues that mirrored the midnight sky, soft purples that seemed to blend with the shadows, pale pinks that caught the light like the blush of dawn. Together they formed a pathway of color and light, leading him deeper into the garden, deeper into a world of peace and quiet beauty. The air was filled with the fragrance of these blooms, a scent that was both grounding and uplifting, earthy and sweet, with hints of lavender and jasmine, a scent that seemed to soothe his spirit with every breath. Alden walked slowly, savoring the tranquility that surrounded him, feeling the garden's peace settle into his bones, into his mind. His footsteps were soft, muffled by the mossy ground, each step carrying him further away from the world he knew, and deeper into this hidden realm of serenity. The path led him around gentle bends, through arches of flowering vines, and past clusters of tall, graceful ferns that swayed softly in the night breeze. Each turn revealed something new, petals that caught the moonlight like tiny stars, leaves that shimmered with droplets of dew, casting tiny rainbows in the dim light. As he moved further into the garden, he began to notice subtle sounds in the distance. The faint trickle of water, the soft murmur of leaves rustling in the breeze, the quiet hum of life moving in harmony. It was as if the garden were alive, breathing in time with the rhythm of the night, a world that moved gently, softly, like a lullaby. He paused to listen, letting the sounds wash over him, feeling the music of the garden settle into his heart. The water sounded close, its gentle flow a quiet invitation, drawing him forward with a promise of calm, of peace. Alden continued along the path, his steps guided by the sound of the water, each footfall a quiet rhythm that matched the garden's pulse. The air grew cooler as he walked, filled with the scent of damp earth and fresh leaves, a grounding, comforting aroma that made him feel at home, at ease. As he rounded another bend in the path, he found himself facing a small clearing where a fountain stood at the garden's center. It was carved from pale stone, its surface smooth and weathered, bearing the marks of time and rain, as though it had stood here for centuries, quietly watching over the garden. The fountain was simple yet beautiful, its design intricate and elegant, with delicate carvings of leaves and vines that curled around its base, creating a tapestry of nature in stone. The water flowed from the top in a gentle cascade, each droplet catching the light as it fell, creating tiny rainbows that shimmered in the air. Alden approached the fountain slowly, his eyes fixed on the water as it flowed, watching as each droplet joined the others in a soft, rhythmic dance. The sound of the water was soothing, a gentle, steady flow that filled the clearing with a sense of calm, a sound that seemed to echo the heartbeat of the garden itself. He reached out a hand, letting his fingers touch the cool surface of the water, feeling its refreshing touch against his skin, a quiet reminder of the beauty and simplicity of life, of the peace that could be found in the smallest moments. Standing by the fountain, he felt the world grow quieter, his thoughts softening, blending with the sounds of the garden. Each breath he took filled him with the scent of the flowers, the coolness of the water, the gentle hum of life that surrounded him. Each breath drawing him deeper into a state of peace. He closed his eyes, letting the garden's energy wrap around him like a blanket, feeling the tension melt from his body, leaving only a sense of calm, of stillness. In this place, in this moment, he felt as though he were a part of something timeless, a part of the garden's quiet beauty, a piece of the peace that flowed through every leaf, every petal, every droplet of water. For a long time he stood there, breathing in the garden's calm, feeling the peace settle deep within him, a stillness that filled his heart, his mind, his soul. The garden felt like a sanctuary, a place where he could let go of all that weighed on him, a place where he could simply be, where he could find rest, where he could dream. When he opened his eyes, he saw the path continuing beyond the fountain, winding further into the garden, disappearing into the shadows of the trees. He knew there was more to see, more beauty to uncover, more peace to find. With a final deep breath, he stepped away from the fountain, his heart filled with gratitude, his mind quiet and clear. The garden was waiting, its secrets hidden within its heart, a world of peace and beauty that lay just beyond the path. As Alden stepped beyond the fountain, he felt a shift in the atmosphere around him. The garden seemed to open up before him, revealing new paths, each one winding into lush, colorful landscapes that stretched further than he could see. It was as if each pathway held a story of its own, a hidden world waiting for him to explore. The air was warmer here, infused with a scent both earthy and sweet, like a mix of fresh rain and wildflowers in bloom. Every breath he took seemed to bring a new layer of calm, a deeper sense of peace, as though the garden itself were breathing with him, guiding him into its quiet embrace. As he began down one of the paths, Alden noticed that the garden was filled with an extraordinary array of flowers, each one unique, each one vibrant in its own quiet way. Some flowers were small and delicate, their petals barely the size of a fingertip, while others were broad and lush, their colors vivid and deep like the hues of a summer sunset. He stopped at a bed of lavender-colored blossoms, their petals soft and velvety, glowing gently in the moonlight. Each petal seemed to shimmer with a light of its own, catching the slightest movement of the breeze, as if they were dancing to a song only they could hear. Alden reached out a hand, letting his fingers brush against the flowers. The petals were cool and soft, a gentle reminder of nature's quiet beauty, of the delicate balance of life. The fragrance rose to meet him, a subtle, sweet scent that filled him with a sense of joy, a feeling of peace that seemed to bloom from within. As he continued down the path, he came upon a gentle slope, its sides covered in clusters of tiny bell-shaped flowers. They grew close to the ground, their white petals creating a soft carpet that glowed in the pale light. The flowers seemed to bow their heads, like tiny lanterns lighting his way, each one casting a faint glow that pooled along the pathway. He walked slowly, savoring each step, each sight, feeling a sense of connection with everything around him. The garden felt alive, not just with the beauty of nature, but with a kind of presence, an energy that filled the air, that wrapped around him like a gentle embrace. In the distance, he heard a faint, melodic sound, like the soft ringing of wind chimes, mingling with the rustling of leaves. The sound was soothing, almost hypnotic, inviting him further into the depths of the garden. Following the sound, he came upon a small grove of trees, their branches entwined to form a natural archway, leading into a shaded, secluded area. The trees were tall and graceful, their trunks smooth and pale, their leaves a dark, glossy green that shimmered in the moonlight. Alden stepped through the archway and found himself in a small clearing, surrounded by trees on all sides. In the center of the clearing was a stone bench, worn with age, its surface smooth from years of rain and sun. The bench seemed to invite him to sit, to rest, to take in the beauty of this hidden corner of the garden. He lowered himself onto the bench, feeling the coolness of the stone beneath him, a grounding sensation that seemed to anchor him to the earth, to the quiet peace of the garden. Around him, the trees swayed gently in the breeze, their leaves rustling softly, creating a lullaby of whispers that filled the clearing with a sense of timeless calm. Closing his eyes, Alden let the sounds of the garden fill his mind, the soft rustling of leaves, the gentle hum of insects, the distant trickle of water. Each sound seemed to carry him deeper into a state of relaxation, each note a reminder to let go, to surrender to the peace that surrounded him. As he sat there, breathing deeply, he felt a profound sense of stillness settle over him, a quiet joy that filled his heart, a feeling of being exactly where he was meant to be. It was as if the garden were a reflection of his own soul, a mirror of the peace he carried within. When he opened his eyes, he saw that the pathway continued beyond the clearing, winding through another part of the garden. With a final, grateful glance at the bench, he rose to his feet and continued his journey, each step carrying him further into the heart of the garden, further into the depths of peace. Leaving the grove behind, Alden followed the path as it wound its way through the garden, each turn revealing new wonders, new worlds of color and light. He felt as though he were walking through a living painting, a place crafted not by human hands, but by the gentle touch of time and nature. The path led him through clusters of vibrant flowers, past small bubbling streams that wove through the garden like silver ribbons, their waters cool and clear, reflecting the light of the moon. He paused by one of the streams, dipping his fingers into the water, feeling its coolness spread over his skin, a refreshing touch that seemed to fill him with a quiet energy. The air was filled with the scent of night-blooming jasmine and honeysuckle, their fragrances mingling in a sweet, heady perfume that lingered with each breath, a soft reminder of the beauty that surrounded him. It was a scent that seemed to weave itself into his very being, a fragrance of peace, of calm, of quiet joy. After a while, the path opened up, leading him into a wide, open space. A meadow bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. The grass was tall and lush, swaying gently in the breeze, each blade catching the light and creating a sea of silver and green that stretched out before him. The meadow was dotted with wildflowers, their colors soft and muted, blending with the silvery light of the moon. Pale blue blossoms, delicate pinks, and hints of lavender and white created a patchwork of color, a quiet beauty that felt both dreamlike and real. Alden stepped into the meadow, feeling the softness of the grass beneath his feet, the gentle brush of flowers against his legs. The ground felt cool and solid, a comforting presence that anchored him to the earth, grounding him in the peace of the moment. In the center of the meadow, he found a soft patch of grass, surrounded by clusters of wildflowers, their petals shimmering like tiny stars against the dark green of the grass. The spot felt perfect, inviting, as though it had been waiting just for him. He lowered himself onto the grass, lying back with his arms stretched out, his gaze fixed on the sky above. The stars were bright, scattered across the heavens like tiny jewels, their light soft and gentle, a quiet reminder of the vastness of the universe, the beauty that lay beyond. As he lay there, breathing deeply, he felt a sense of weightlessness, a feeling of being lifted, carried by the night, by the peace that filled the meadow. The world around him faded into a soft blur, leaving only the stars, the gentle breeze, the scent of flowers, and the quiet, steady rhythm of his own breath. The meadow felt like a sanctuary, a place where dreams could drift freely, where the mind could wander without fear, without worry, where peace could flow like a gentle river, washing over him, filling him with a quiet joy. He closed his eyes, letting the sounds of the meadow fill his mind, the soft rustling of grass, the distant call of a night bird, the gentle hum of insects hidden among the flowers. Each sound was a note in a lullaby, a melody that seemed to cradle him, to soothe him, to guide him into a state of deep relaxation. For a long time, Alden lay there, letting go of everything, feeling the peace of the meadow settle into his bones, into his heart, into his soul. The garden felt like a place beyond time, a world untouched by the worries of life, a sanctuary where he could rest, where he could dream, where he could find the peace he had been searching for. As he drifted deeper into relaxation, he felt a sense of gratitude fill him, a quiet joy for the beauty of this place, for the calm it had brought him, for the peace that had filled his heart. He knew that this garden, this meadow, this hidden world of serenity would stay with him, a memory he could carry with him, a place he could return to whenever he needed peace, whenever he needed rest. The stars above seemed to glow brighter, casting casting their gentle light over the meadow, wrapping him in a blanket of silver and green. A reminder that he was safe, that he was loved, that he was at peace. With a final, deep breath, Alden let himself drift into a state of pure relaxation, a place of dreams, a place of peace, a place of quiet beauty that would stay with him always. As Alden rose from the soft grass of the meadow, he felt as though he were emerging from a deep, dream-filled rest. His body was light, his heart filled with a gentle joy, and his mind clear and calm. The garden had become more than just a beautiful place. It had woven itself into his spirit, filling him with a quiet peace that felt as though it had always been a part of him. He took a moment to breathe in the night air, feeling the coolness on his skin, the freshness of the garden surrounding him. Each breath brought a renewed sense of calm, as though the very air was laced with peace, with a quiet energy that wrapped around him, grounding him in the moment. Ahead, a narrow path led from the meadow, winding through tall grass and clusters of flowers. The path was partially hidden, as though it were meant only for those who truly sought it. A secret trail that would reveal its beauty only to those who approached with an open heart. Alden felt a gentle pull, a quiet invitation to continue, to follow the path wherever it might lead. He stepped forward, each step soft and slow, savoring the feel of the cool earth beneath his feet, the gentle brush of flowers against his legs, the faint rustle of leaves in the breeze. The path led him through a shaded area of the garden where tall ferns grew in thick clusters, their fronds unfurling gracefully, casting soft shadows on the ground. The air here was cool and damp, filled with the earthy scent of moss and wet leaves, a grounding, comforting aroma that made him feel connected to the earth, to the quiet strength of the forest around him. As he walked, he began to hear the faint sound of water, a soft, gentle ripple, like the quiet breath of a hidden stream. The sound was soothing, a steady rhythm that matched his footsteps, a lullaby that filled the air with a sense of peace, a promise of calm. Following the sound, he rounded a bend in the path and found himself standing before a small, secluded pool. The water was perfectly still, its surface smooth and clear, reflecting the surrounding trees and flowers like a mirror. The pool was nestled in a hollow surrounded by stones and moss, with delicate ferns arching over the edges, their fronds dipping lightly into the water. The sight of the pool filled Alden with a sense of awe, a quiet wonder that made him feel as though he had stumbled upon a sacred place, a hidden sanctuary that held the garden's deepest secrets. The pool felt timeless, as though it had existed here for centuries, untouched, its beauty preserved in the stillness of the water, the softness of the moss, the gentle shadows cast by the trees. He knelt by the edge of the pool, his gaze fixed on the water, watching as the moonlight cast a soft, silvery glow across its surface. The water was so clear that he could see to the bottom, where smooth stones lay in gentle patterns, their colors muted and soft, blending with the earth, with the quiet beauty of the pool. As he stared into the water, he noticed his own reflection looking back at him, a calm, serene face, his features softened by the moonlight, his eyes filled with peace. The reflection seemed to hold a deeper truth, a quiet understanding that went beyond words, a reminder of the peace that lay within him, the calm that had always been there, waiting to be uncovered. Alden reached out a hand, letting his fingers touch the surface of the water, feeling its coolness spread over his skin, a gentle reminder of life's quiet beauty, the simple joys that could be found in moments of stillness, of calm. The water rippled softly at his touch, creating tiny waves that spread across the surface, distorting his reflection, blending it with the shadows with the moonlight. As he watched the ripples fade, the water grew still once more, his reflection returning, a quiet, calm presence that filled him with a sense of peace, of acceptance. It was as though the pool understood him, as though it held not just his reflection, but a part of his spirit, a part of the peace he had found within the garden. He closed his eyes, breathing deeply, feeling the garden's energy wrap around him like a gentle embrace, grounding him in the moment, connecting him to the earth, to the beauty that surrounded him. Each breath was a reminder of the peace he had found, the quiet joy that filled his heart, a joy that went beyond words, beyond thought, a joy that was simply felt, a joy that was. For a long time, Alden sat by the pool, breathing deeply, letting the peace of the garden fill him, letting the beauty of the night wash over him. The pool was a mirror, a reflection not just of his face, but of his spirit, a reminder of the quiet strength that lay within him, the calm that he carried in his heart. When he opened his eyes, he saw that the path continued beyond the pool, winding further into the shadows, leading to parts of the garden that remained hidden, waiting to be discovered. The garden was vast, a world of beauty and peace that stretched beyond his sight, beyond his understanding, a world that would reveal its secrets only to those who took the time to see, to feel, to be. With a final, deep breath, Alden rose to his feet, his heart filled with gratitude, his mind clear and calm. He knew that this garden, this pool, this hidden world of serenity would stay with him, a memory he could carry with him, a place he could return to whenever he needed peace, whenever he needed calm. As he stepped away from the pool, he felt a sense of lightness, a quiet joy that lifted his spirit, that filled him with a sense of peace, a feeling of being exactly where he was meant to be. The garden had become a part of him, a part of his spirit, a part of the peace he carried within him, a part of the beauty that filled his heart. He continued along the path, each step soft and slow, each step a quiet rhythm that matched the garden's pulse, a gentle reminder of the peace that surrounded him, the calm that filled his heart, the beauty that lay within the world, within himself. With each step Alden took beyond the pool of reflection, he felt lighter, as though a weight he hadn't known he was carrying had slowly lifted, dissolved into the cool night air. The path ahead was narrow, winding between clusters of wild flowers that swayed gently in the breeze, their colors muted by the soft glow of the moon, blending seamlessly with the shadows that played along the ground. The garden was quiet now, filled only with the gentle sounds of the night, the faint rustling of leaves, the distant murmur of water, the soft hum of life moving in harmony. It was as if the garden itself were resting, content, its beauty laid bare beneath the starlit sky. Alden's footsteps were soft, his pace unhurried, as he followed the path, letting the peace of the garden settle over him like a warm blanket. Each step seemed to carry him deeper into a state of calm, a sense of tranquility that went beyond words, beyond thought, a feeling of simply being, of simply existing in the beauty of the moment. The path led him to a small grove, hidden within a circle of towering trees whose branches arched above, creating a natural dome that shielded the grove from the outside world. The trees were ancient, their trunks wide and strong, their bark textured and rough, bearing the marks of countless seasons. Each tree seemed to hold a quiet wisdom, a sense of timelessness, as though they had been here since the beginning of time, watching over the garden, standing as silent guardians. As Alden stepped into the grove, he felt a gentle warmth settle over him, a quiet energy that seemed to radiate from the trees, filling the air with a sense of peace, of calm, of quiet strength. The grove felt alive, not just with the beauty of nature, but with a presence, an energy that wrapped around him, grounding him, connecting him to the earth, to the trees, to the garden itself. In the center of the grove stood a single stone, smooth and worn, its surface cool and inviting. It looked as though it had been placed there purposefully, as though it were meant for someone to sit, to rest, to take in the beauty of the grove. Alden moved to the stone, lowering himself onto its smooth surface, feeling the coolness seep through his clothing, a grounding sensation that made him feel as though he were becoming a part of the grove, a part of the garden, a part of the peace that surrounded him. He closed his eyes, breathing deeply, letting the scent of the garden fill his lungs, the earthy aroma of the trees, the faint sweetness of night-blooming flowers, the freshness of the cool night air. Each breath drew him deeper into a state of relaxation, a place of calm that filled his heart, his mind, his spirit. As he sat there, he became aware of a soft, gentle sound, a melody that seemed to drift through the air, blending with the rustling of the leaves, the hum of insects, the quiet murmur of the garden. It was a song without words, a music that seemed to come from the earth itself, a quiet lullaby that wrapped around him, cradling him in a blanket of peace. The melody was soothing, a gentle rhythm that matched his breathing, his heartbeat, a reminder of the quiet beauty of the world, the simple joys of life, the peace that could be found in moments of stillness, of calm. Alden let the melody wash over him, feeling it settle into his bones, into his spirit, a quiet reminder of the beauty of life, of the peace that lay within him, waiting to be uncovered, to be embraced. In that moment, he felt a profound sense of connection to the world around him, a feeling of oneness with the garden, with the earth, with the universe. It was as though he were no longer a separate being, but a part of the garden, a part of the peace that filled the grove, a part of the beauty that surrounded him. The melody continued, soft and steady, a lullaby that lulled him into a state of deep relaxation, a place of calm that went beyond thought, beyond words, a place of pure peace. He opened his eyes, looking up at the trees that towered above him, their branches swaying gently in the breeze, their leaves shimmering in the moonlight, casting a soft, dappled light across the grove. The trees felt alive, as though they were watching over him, guiding him, filling him with a quiet strength, a reminder that he was never alone, that he was a part of something greater, something beautiful. Alden sat there for a long time, breathing deeply, feeling the peace of the grove settle into his heart, his mind, his soul. The garden had become a part of him, a part of his spirit, a part of the calm that he carried within him, a part of the beauty that filled his heart. When he finally rose, he felt a sense of lightness, a quiet joy that filled him with gratitude, a feeling of peace that went beyond words, beyond thought, a feeling that would stay with him, a part of him, a memory he could carry with him, a place he could return to whenever he needed calm, whenever he needed rest. As he stepped out of the grove, he saw a path leading away from the garden, a gentle trail that wound its way through the trees, disappearing into the shadows, a path that felt like a doorway, a threshold between worlds. He knew that it was time to leave, to say goodbye to the garden, to carry its peace with him, to let it become a part of his journey, a part of his life. But he also knew that the garden would always be there, waiting, a sanctuary of calm, a place of beauty, a hidden world of serenity that he could return to whenever he needed peace, whenever he needed calm. With a final, grateful glance at the grove, Alden stepped onto the path, his footsteps soft, his heart filled with peace, his mind clear and calm. Each step carried him further from the garden, but the garden's beauty, its peace, its calm, stayed with him, a memory, a feeling, a presence that filled his heart, his spirit, his soul. As he walked, the garden faded into the distance, its beauty blending with the shadows, disappearing into the night. But its peace remained, a quiet reminder of the beauty of life, the simple joys of the world, the calm that lay within him, waiting to be uncovered, to be embraced. And as he took his final steps out of the garden, he felt a profound sense of gratitude, a quiet joy that filled his heart, a feeling of peace that would stay with him, a part of him, a memory that he could carry with him, a place he could return to, a sanctuary of calm, a hidden world of serenity. The path led him back to the forest, back to the world he knew, but he was different now, changed by the garden, filled with a peace, a calm, a beauty that would stay with him, a part of him, a quiet joy that would fill his heart, his mind, his spirit. With each step, he felt lighter, his heart filled with peace, his mind clear and calm, a feeling of being exactly where he was meant to be, a feeling of being at home, a feeling of being at peace. The garden had become a part of him, a part of his spirit, a part of the beauty, the calm, the peace that filled his heart, his mind, his soul. And as he walked away, he knew that he could always return, that the garden would always be there, a sanctuary of calm, a place of beauty, a hidden world of serenity that would welcome him, that would fill him with peace, with calm, with a quiet joy that went beyond words, beyond thought, a joy that was simply felt, a joy that was. After leaving the enchanted grove, Alden found himself drawn toward a gentle slope, the path winding upward in soft, sweeping curves. The air was cool and fresh, filled with the earthy scent of moss and wildflowers. Each step felt light, almost as if the garden itself were lifting him, guiding him toward a destination that felt both unknown and intimately familiar. The path opened up to reveal a vast meadow bathed in soft moonlight, stretching out like a tapestry of silver and green. The grass was tall and lush, swaying gently in the breeze, each blade catching the light, creating a sea of shimmering silver. Small, delicate wildflowers were scattered throughout the meadow, their petals open and glowing faintly, like stars scattered across the earth. Alden stood at the edge of the meadow, taking in the quiet beauty of the scene. The air here felt different, lighter, filled with a peaceful energy that wrapped around him, grounding him in the moment. He took a deep breath, letting the cool, fragrant air fill his lungs, feeling the garden's calm settle over him like a soft, comforting blanket. He stepped forward, his feet sinking slightly into the cool earth, each step a gentle reminder of the connection he felt to the garden, to the beauty that surrounded him. The grass brushed against his legs, soft and cool, creating a rhythm with each step, a quiet lullaby that filled his mind, his heart, his spirit. In the center of the meadow, he found a patch of soft green grass, surrounded by clusters of wildflowers in shades of pale blue, lavender, and white. It was a place that felt welcoming, a space that seemed to invite him to rest, to surrender to the beauty of the moment. Alden lowered himself onto the grass, feeling the coolness spread over his skin, a grounding sensation that made him feel as though he were becoming a part of the meadow, a part of the garden, a part of the peace that filled the air. He lay back, his eyes fixed on the sky above, where stars twinkled faintly, scattered across a deep, velvety expanse. The moon hung low, casting a soft, silvery glow over the meadow, creating an atmosphere of quiet magic, a sense of timeless beauty. As he lay there, breathing deeply, he felt a sense of weightlessness, a feeling of being lifted, carried by the night, by the peace that filled the meadow. The world around him softened, fading into a gentle blur, leaving only the stars, the cool grass beneath him, the soft rustling of leaves, and the quiet, steady rhythm of his own breath. The meadow felt like a sanctuary, a place where dreams could drift freely, where the mind could wander without fear, without worry, where peace could flow like a gentle river, washing over him, filling him with a quiet joy, a calm that went beyond words. He closed his eyes, letting the sounds of the meadow fill his mind, the soft rustling of grass, the distant call of a night bird, the gentle hum of insects hidden among the flowers. Each sound was a note in a lullaby, a melody that seemed to cradle him, to soothe him, to guide him into a state of deep relaxation. As he lay there, he felt a profound sense of connection to the world around him, a feeling of oneness with the garden, with the earth, with the universe. It was as though he were no longer a separate being, but a part of the garden, a part of the peace that filled the meadow, a part of the beauty that surrounded him. For a long time, Alden lay there, letting go of everything, feeling the peace of the meadow settle into his bones, into his heart, into his soul. The garden felt like a place beyond time, a world untouched by the worries of life, a sanctuary where he could rest, where he could dream, where he could find the peace he had been searching for. The stars above seemed to glow brighter, casting their gentle light over the meadow, wrapping him in a blanket of silver and green, a reminder that he was safe, that he was loved, that he was at peace. With a final deep breath, Alden let himself drift into a state of pure relaxation, a place of dreams, a place of peace, a place of quiet beauty that would stay with him always. As Alden rose from the meadow, he felt as if he were awakening from a gentle dream. His body felt light, his mind clear, and his heart filled with a quiet joy. The peace of the garden had settled within him, a calm presence that filled him with a sense of purpose, a feeling of being exactly where he was meant to be. He took a final look at the meadow, taking in the beauty of the soft, silvery grass, the delicate wildflowers, the stars scattered across the sky. It was a sight that would stay with him, a memory he could carry with him, a place he could return to in his heart whenever he needed peace, whenever he needed calm. The path led him out of the meadow, winding through a section of the garden he hadn't yet explored. The air here was warm, filled with the scent of flowers in bloom, a fragrance that felt both grounding and uplifting, a reminder of the beauty that surrounded him. As he walked, he noticed a soft glow in the distance, a faint golden light that seemed to beckon him forward. The light grew brighter as he approached, illuminating the path, casting a gentle glow that wrapped around him, guiding him toward a new part of the garden. The source of the light was an archway, crafted from stone and covered in glowing vines. their leaves shimmering in shades of green and gold, creating an ethereal, almost magical effect. The archway stood tall and graceful, its surface smooth and worn, bearing the marks of time, of seasons long past.
Alden paused before the archway, feeling a sense of awe, a quiet wonder that filled him with gratitude, with joy. The archway felt like a doorway, a threshold between worlds, a passage that marked the end of his journey through the garden, a gentle reminder that it was time to leave. He took a deep breath, letting the garden's scent fill his lungs, feeling the peace settle over him one last time, grounding him, connecting him to the beauty that surrounded him, to the peace that filled his heart. With a final grateful glance at the garden, he stepped through the archway, feeling a gentle warmth settle over him, a quiet joy that filled his spirit, a reminder of the peace he had found, the calm that he carried within him. The path beyond the archway led him out of the garden, back to the world he knew, but he was different now, changed by the beauty he had seen, the peace he had found. The garden had become a part of him, a part of his spirit, a part of the calm that he carried within him, a part of the beauty that filled his heart. As he walked, the garden faded into the distance, its beauty blending with the shadows, disappearing into the night. But its peace remained, a quiet reminder of the beauty of life, the simple joys of the world, the calm that lay within him, waiting to be uncovered, to be embraced. And as he took his final steps out of the garden, he felt a profound sense of gratitude, a quiet joy that filled his heart, a feeling of peace that would stay with him, a part of him, a memory that he could carry with him, a place he could return to, a sanctuary of calm, a hidden world of serenity. The path led him back to the forest, back to the world he knew. But he was different now, changed by the garden, filled with a peace, a calm, a beauty that would stay with him, a part of him, a quiet joy that would fill his heart, his mind, his spirit. With each step, he felt lighter, his heart filled with peace, his mind clear and calm, a feeling of being exactly where he was meant to be, a feeling of being at home, a feeling of being at peace. The garden had become a part of him, a part of his spirit, a part of the beauty, the calm, the peace that filled his heart, his mind, his soul. And as he walked away, he knew that he could always return, that the garden would always be there, a sanctuary of calm, a place of beauty, a hidden world of serenity that would welcome him, that would fill him with peace, with calm, with a quiet joy that went beyond words, beyond thought, a joy that was simply felt, a joy that was.
The stars above seemed to glow brighter, casting their gentle light over the meadow, wrapping him in a blanket of silver and green, a reminder that he was safe, that he was loved, that he was at peace. As he walked, the garden faded into the distance, its beauty blending with the shadows, disappearing into the night. But its peace remained, a quiet reminder of the beauty of life, the simple joys of the world, the calm that lay within him, waiting to be uncovered, to be embraced. With a final, deep breath, Alden let himself drift into a state of pure relaxation, a place of dreams, a place of peace, a place of quiet beauty that would stay with him always. As Alden rose from the meadow, he felt as if he were awakening from a gentle dream. His body felt light, his mind clear, and his heart filled with a quiet joy. The peace of the garden had settled within him, a calm presence that filled him with a sense of purpose, a feeling of being exactly where he was meant to be. And as he took his final steps out of the garden, he felt a profound sense of gratitude, a quiet joy that filled his heart, a feeling of peace that would stay with him, a part of him, a memory that he could carry with him, a place he could return to, a sanctuary of calm, a hidden world of serenity. He took a final look at the meadow, taking in the beauty of the soft, silvery grass, the delicate wildflowers, the stars scattered across the sky. It was a sight that would stay with him, a memory he could carry with him, a place he could return to in his heart whenever he needed peace, whenever he needed calm. The path led him out of the meadow, winding through a section of the garden he hadn't yet explored. The air here was warm, filled with the scent of flowers in bloom, a fragrance that felt both grounding and uplifting, a reminder of the beauty that surrounded him. The path led him back to the forest, back to the world he knew, but he was different now, changed by the garden, filled with a peace, a calm, a beauty that would stay with him, a part of him, a quiet joy that would fill his heart, his mind, his spirit. With each step, he felt lighter, his heart filled with peace, his mind clear and calm, a feeling of being exactly where he was meant to be, a feeling of being at home, a feeling of being at peace. The garden had become a part of him, a part of his spirit, a part of the beauty, the calm, the peace that filled his heart, his mind, his soul. And as he walked away, he knew that he could always return, that the garden would always be there, a sanctuary of calm, a place of beauty, a hidden world of serenity that would welcome him, that would fill him with peace, with calm, with a quiet joy that went beyond words, beyond thought, a joy that was simply felt, a joy that was